News from across the Federation, spanning the region and covering the globe. This is the Kyssfm SKN News Now Morning Edition, your one true source for news. And now your presenter.
Good morning. Today is Monday, 15th January 2018. I'm Ebony Brandon. These are this morning's top stories. Nationally, Roberto Hector of the Nevis Reformation Party is challenging the election results in St. Paul's in the Nevis Island elections. Internationally, Pope Francis is visiting Chile amid a child sex abuse scandal. And in sport, England cricketer Ben Stokes has been charged for his involvement in the Bristol nightclub incident. We also have today's weather forecast and CARP update. Now for a look at the news developments in detail. Earlier word from the Nevis Reformation Party's departing leader, Honorable Joseph Parry, that there would be an election challenge of the results in District 1 St. Paul in Nevis has been confirmed. In documents filed on 12th January with the High Court Registrar, Mr. Roberto Hector signaled his intention to challenge the election results in his constituency. Hector, who was the incumbent in the December 18, 2007 Nevis Island elections, lost his seat to the Concerned Citizens Movement Spencer Brand. Mr. Hector, who served 2 terms as the District 1 representative, secured 585 votes, while Mr. Brand edged him out to victory with 596 votes. In the court documents, Spencer Brand is identified as the first respondent, Supervisor of Elections Elvin Bailey the second respondent, Registration Officer for the constituency of St. Paul, Calvin Foy the third respondent, and the Attorney General of St. Kitts and Nevis the fourth respondent. Mr. Hector's principal claim in the petition is that the voters' list in his district was defective and was therefore biased against him. He also claims there were several other irregularities committed by parties, including the Electoral Office, which impacted the election in his district. In his New Year's Day address to the nation, outgoing NRP leader Joseph Parry said he supported Mr. Hector's move, as free and fair elections are crucial to maintaining democracy. And in other news, resident pathologist Dr. Adrian Nunez has confirmed that 29-year-old Torre Barros' cause of death was asphyxia due to drowning. The Keon man lost his life on January 4th this year during a beach excursion at Carambola at Friars Bay. Burrows was with his twin brother and other companions. Sometime after going in the water, the group Burrows was with reported that he had not been seen for some time and so began a search of the area for him. He was found soon after floating in the water unresponsive. Emergency medical services were summoned. However, persons on the beach who had first aid training were reported to have come to Burrows' immediate assistance. The attempt to resuscitate Burrows continued when the ambulance services arrived sometime after, but he was pronounced dead upon arrival at the Joseph and France General Hospital that same day. In international developments this morning, Pope Francis's visit to Chile has seen an unprecedented degree of opposition as Catholic churches are vandalized and Chileans stage protests against Bishop Barros, who was appointed by the Pope. Bishop Barros is accused of covering up sex abuse by Chile's most notorious pedophile priest. He'll be in Chile as part of a 6-day tour that will include Peru, 2 countries where there have been several sex scandals involving the Catholic Church. The issue is expected to take center stage during the trip. Lucia Newman reports.
It used to be standing room only inside this cathedral in southern Chile. But these days, not many are singing the praises of their bishop, Juan Barros, appointed 3 years ago by Pope Francis. Outside the cathedral, other members of the flock demand the resignation of the bishop, who's accused of covering up sex abuses by Chile's most notorious pedophile priest. The Pope may be smiling down at these people, but they're not smiling back. This used to be one of the most faithful Catholic cities in all of Chile, but now these faithful say that they are sad and angry at their Pope. Silvana González accuses him of betraying his promises.
The Vatican still covers up abusers, and to boot, in Chile, it rewards them with promotions and positions abroad. The severity we expected from the Pope isn't there. It's unacceptable that a bishop like Barrows, who covered up sex abuses, be put in charge of our diocese.
While the protest continued, we caught Bishop Barros leaving through the parking lot. He has long denied any wrongdoing, but evaded the questions about the calls for his resignation.
There are many other people doing lovely church work. Many blessings to you.
Juan Carlos Cruz, who calls himself a survivor, is only one of those who accuse the bishop of facilitating abuses against them by this man, Father Fernando Caradima. Behind these walls, Caradima abused scores of seminarians while preparing dozens of priests and 5 bishops, including Bishop Barros.
He saw when the priest kissed us, when he touched people's genitals. He was watching. There's reams of testimony of how he was present, and till this day, the Pope doesn't acknowledge that. Pure talk, no action. His zero tolerance is a false zero tolerance.
But just last week, ahead of his trip to Chile and Peru, the Pope ordered the Vatican to take over an elite Catholic group in Peru after years of charges that its founder, seen here, sexually and physically abused scores of children and adults.
Until now, what we've had are dramatic gestures, maneuvers for impact and damage control aimed at improving the Church's image.
That may not be enough to satisfy victims like Juan Carlos Cruz and other critics who insist that while the Pope is here, they'll continue raising their voice to hold the Vatican and its leader accountable.
And in sport developments this morning, England cricketer Ben Stokes has been charged with a fray over an incident outside a Bristol nightclub last year. The disturbance in September left a man with a fractured eye socket, and police sent their findings to the Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, in November. Stokes missed the Ashes series with the England and Wales Cricket Board, ECB, saying he would not be considered for England until further notice. The 26-year-old has been charged along with 2 men from Bristol. A statement from the CPS said following a review of all the available evidence, the CPS has authorized the police to charge 3 men with a fray in connection with the incident. Ben Stokes, 26, Ryan Alley, 28, and Ryan Hale, 26, are all due to appear before Bristol Magistrates Court on a date to be fixed in relation to the charge. Stokes was initially named in England's squad for the Ashes, and despite the ECB's reluctance to pick him, while the CPS decided whether to charge him, he was also included in the one-day squad for the 5-match series against Australia. He was also named in the England Test squad to tour New Zealand in March, but any potential involvement remains subject to legal or disciplinary developments. And now for a look at this morning's weather forecast. Across St. Kitts and Nevis, moisture and instability associated with a slow-moving surface trough will continue to linger across the area today and tonight, maintaining a high chance for showers over and around the islands during that time. Skies will be partly cloudy to cloudy today and tonight, with periods of scattered showers likely. Some showers could be moderate to locally heavy at times. Winds are easterly at 12 to 18 miles per hour with higher gusts during showers. Seas are rough with swells of 1.8 to 2.4 meters or 6 to 8 feet. Warnings remain in place for small craft operators and sea bathers against hazardous sea conditions. The sea level pressure is 1,015.5 millibars or 29.98 inches. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:37 a.m. and set today at 5:57 p.m. Across the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, the presence of a weak surface trough will result in mostly cloudy skies, with periods of scattered showers across Puerto Rico, the British Virgin Islands, and the Leeward Islands. Some showers could be locally heavy at times. Elsewhere across the Eastern Caribbean, skies will be fair to partly cloudy with only brief passing showers, as high pressure is the dominant feature in the area. And that brings us to the end of this morning's news presentation. We wrap up with a recap of this morning's top stories. Roberta Hector of the Nevis Reformation Party is challenging the Nevis Island election results in the St. Paul constituency. Internationally, Pope Francis is visiting Chile amid a child abuse scandal. And in sport, England cricketer Ben Stokes has been charged with his involvement in the Bristol nightclub incident in September last year. I've been your presenter, Ebony Brandon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. Carib Update is next.